Hey guys, hope everyone's doing really well today or tonight. I wanted to make a quick video on all about your comfort zone, pretty much, and why it's so important that not always, but that you make an effort to actually, leave your comfort zone, from time to time, or when things aren't suiting your current situation. So we'll get into it, but yeah, the reason why I made this video was because I know, from personal experience as well, how easy it is to get stuck in your comfort zone. And the reality is, most of us are stuck in our comfort zones, and we're not looking to move anytime soon. And in a world where it's so competitive and things move so quickly, being stuck and comfortable just yeah, it pulls you right back, and it just means that you're behind everyone else doing more and more. So if you're someone who just wants to, do a little bit of this and that, that's totally fine. But for people who actually want to kind of grow and I guess have the best life that they can have, um, yeah, here's your sign. Here's a video on how to leave your comfort zone and why. Okay, so the benefits of stepping outside of your comfort zone. Now, obviously we don't grow when we're comfortable, right? When we're comfortable, we're like this, right? We're kind of staying still, which is fine for the most part, right? I think it's impossible to always be uncomfortable, right? If you're always uncomfortable, there's probably a bigger issue at play. But to always be comfortable is also an issue in itself. So I don't think it's good to be comfortable all the time. I think when you're too comfortable and you're not growing, it's time to kind of, look at that and make a change. Um, Stepping outside your comfort zone obviously makes you a stronger person. You become more confident and resilient because you're faced with things that are uncomfortable. Now, it's kind of weird saying that you voluntarily actually go outside of your comfort zone and you see things that I guess scare you, or you see things that you don't know if they're right for you. But these are the kind of key things that you need to do to grow as a person. Also, learn more about yourself, but more importantly, kind of grow as a person. Just be able to kind of do more than the average person will do. As an example, I'm sure Jeff Bezos, when Amazon was created, or when Apple was created. Like, these are innovative things that took people that stepped outside their comfort zone. They risked being called weird or crazy, but I mean that's how great things happen. Yeah, and another benefit to actually stepping out is you'll discover a lot about yourself that you didn't actually realize about yourself. So, for example, you might say, "Oh, music's not for me. I'm not even going to try music." But if you've never kind of like played an instrument, or you've never tried drums, or even tried DJing or mixing, you wouldn't know what you're actually, what you're, open to, what you're interested in. It might be great in theory to say, "Oh, I'm interested in X, Y, Z," but until you actually give these things a go, you're not actually going to truly know. So it's definitely key to progressing your life and actually, living a more whole and fulfilled life. Um, and yeah, like I mentioned before, the people that have the most fulfilling lives are the ones that are willing to step outside their comfort zone and try things that are different. Um, Not only in terms of things that are different for the world that are new, but also things that are different for themselves, and be willing to learn more about themselves and test and trial, see what works, see what doesn't work. Now, getting uncomfortable, right? To get uncomfortable sounds really weird, but what you're doing is you just reframe it as, this is how I'm going to grow, right? Now, I think if you can do an audit of your entire life, so not maybe not your entire life, but key areas in your life, and kind of identify areas of your life that you know maybe you're just kind of doing the daily, in and out, and it's kind of boring. It's not fulfilling. Understand. Have you been excited recently? Have you been challenged? Are you challenged at all? Are you kind of just doing what you need to do, and that's it, and that's fine? Um, if that's the case, kind of have a think about that and see whether you can get a little bit more uncomfortable with that. Another key, I guess, metric would be, are you growing? Do you see people around you doing lots of cool things, talking about things, trying new things, and you're not doing anything? Then that's definitely something to consider. Now, in terms of actually making a change, I think if you can start small and try things that are a little bit, different, or things that you're not really comfortable with. For example, I mean, having a talk with someone at work that maybe they're not really great to be around, or they're kind of a little bit negative. Just having that chat and just saying, it will be hard. Don't get me wrong, but it's something that needs to happen. And it also builds you up as well. For me personally, something like solo travel started with researching online, just planting the idea in my mind that people do travel solo, and that's totally fine. And then eventuated to maybe traveling down around my local area by myself, and then eventually I took the plunge and traveled to a different country solo. That then led to actually traveling a whole region. So I've traveled Europe, America, and Asia solo, and it's worked really well for me, and it gets me out of my comfort zone each time, and it's exactly what I need to kind of grow as a person. Um, Otherwise, you kind of get bored day to day, and you're like, man, I wish I could be doing these things. You can do them, but it will be a little bit uncomfortable. Now, there may be an element of risk versus reward here. So, for example, there might be it might be that having that chat at work might actually really potentially, you might lose your job from it, or you might lose a friend from having that chat. But I think, like, if you're not able to have those chats, and if you're not able to kind of step outside your comfort zone, both for your benefit and for their benefit, I mean, maybe that's saying something. In my experience, it's almost always been worth it to kind of jump outside my comfort zone. And if I end up going back because it's wrong, at least I've learned a little bit more about myself. So that's really important as well. Take the plunge and just see what works. I think, like, these are some actions obviously you can take initially to kind of get a little bit more uncomfortable. But the biggest thing here will be that mindset, and that get uncomfortable or seek discomfort mindset. Um, I'm still developing it, but I've been able to establish somewhat of that mindset where I get sick of just doing the same thing day in day out. I actually want to do something a little bit more risky, a little bit more crazy. And you could say, for example, starting a YouTube channel might be that. You could say traveling to Africa, solo. That might be it. Or maybe it's going to a networking event and putting yourself out there. Maybe speaking at one. Whatever it is, obviously it's very personal and tailored to you. But whatever that is, make sure that it aligns with what you want, and you actually feel like you're doing something new and exciting, and you're growing. That's the most important. Now, like I mentioned, once you build up that mindset, it really then it turns from actions to mindset to that long term mission or thinking, right? So the ways I've been able to do that, like I mentioned, I've incorporated a couple of challenges. Booking a trip solo across the world, that's really exciting as well. Learning a new language could also be considered a challenge, and people get uncomfortable with it. It's hard. It's not easy to learn a second language. I know I haven't been able to learn one, so that might be on my list now. And starting a new job is always something that's really it seems very risky and seems very uncomfortable. Having the chat with your current boss, and then interviewing as well. It's all very uncomfortable, but I mean, for the most part, people benefit from actually starting a new job, starting somewhere fresh where it's new and they're learning, versus staying somewhere for 10, 20, 30 years and doing the same thing day in, day out. Um, there will be people online or people in your personal life that will support you in being a little bit more uncomfortable. They might not understand it, but there are people that do this. For example, a really good one is Seek Discomfort from Yes Theory. They've built their whole brand around seeking discomfort and being uncomfortable. And if you have a look at their channel, they've done some crazy things around the world. They've traveled to towns that no one's heard of. They've done just incredible things that no sane person would say, yeah, I'm going to do that. So, but they've been able to really squeeze the most out of life. They're fairly young. I believe they're around their 30s. But I mean, they've probably lived 10 lifetimes just in that. I think as well, just auditing and tracking your progress can be very important with this, because you won't realize until kind of you look back or you look forward to, goal setting and whatnot, how different your life could be or is after you've implemented these things. So being able to visualize that, I know people have like vision boards, people, journal, people, write down things on their notes, or they record videos like this. Whatever works for you. I think being able to just long term just incorporate uncomfortableness and being uncomfortable. I mean, it can change your life because most people don't do it. And look, I'll end with this. Just know that it is normal to be comfortable. I'd say 90% of my life is pretty comfortable, which is fantastic, right? Now, if 100% of your life is comfortable and it's been that way for 10 years, I think that that's, a problem, especially if you want to grow. You don't want to be the person who is always comfortable and then complain they can't afford things, or they're always bored, or they're always this. Um, you don't hear those that are really doing exciting things and things that are a little bit crazy complaining a lot of the time. They're the ones kind of trend setting. They're doing the things that people want to do. So look, if you're driven, definitely incorporate some uncomfortableness or discomfort in your life. Don't stay comfortable all the time, because nothing good happens in your comfort zone. Um, it's great for peace of mind, just maintaining things, but ultimately, we all want to grow. That's what we want to do. We want to produce more. We want to create. We want to do great things. We want to have a fulfilling life, and you can't do that just being comfortable all the time. Now, I hope you guys have learned something from this, or you found some value in this. I know I certainly have. If you have any questions, let me know. But otherwise, yeah, do what you can to get uncomfortable. It's definitely worthwhile. You can always go back. And yeah, hope you guys have a good day, and chat to you in the next one. Peace.